Welcome back to Across the Board with Khalid Gray. Today I have two other co-hosts with me.
I'm Kira Tiller.
I'm Kazadi.
And today, guys, we're going to go straight into collegiate sports. You know, college basketball is back in full swing. Very excited for both men's and women's. Yes. We also have college football going into full swing as well. Well, not full swing, but halfway swing. They're in the middle of their season, kind of tail end of the season as well. And we'll get into that. We also have a bunch of NFL drama that we're going to get into, as well as the playoffs are about to start ramping up. So, with a lot jam-packed into today's episode, we're going to start off with college basketball. Our season just started. So we played the College of Biblical Studies. We beat them by 20. And the gameplay that we saw from the new set of players we have and returning players was just something that we all went. It was an amazing show.
It was.
It was.
And I think what is one of the biggest takeaways you could take from this new team?
A big takeaway I could take away is I say we do need to focus a lot on defense. It was a very lackadaisical type of play on defense. It was very strong on offense. You could tell the communication. You could tell what type of play they had. Like, they had a very aggressive play style. And, like, especially with the point guard, I believe it's Orlando.
Orlando is tough.
Yeah, Orlando he was attacking the paint. And for him to be such a small guy on the court with those big dudes, you could see that he was really trying to get into the paint, really get into the basket, and taking advantage of those weaknesses on the defensive side and offensively.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just think, to me, I didn't see really a lot of communication. I just see a lot of, not gonna lie, ball huggers. There's only like 2 key players over there. I didn't see a lot of, teamwork or nothing. They was really wanting that win, and they got that win.
Amen.
They did, period. But I didn't really see a lot of talking. And I just saw a lot of, trying to, score or bucket, and that's another thing.
True.
Yeah,
I can see where you
they was really aggressive. I was like, oh, okay.
Because there were times, how the point guard really controls, the tempo and the pace of the game. So, you can see where, the point guard did feel a little frustrated, or he felt like there was more attention to building the game. So, with him being able to adapt and change the speed of the game, whether that's him pushing it straight to the basket or taking advantage of those gaps that the defense provided him, you can see where everybody else on the court didn't know, oh, this is a fast break moment. This is, we're going to push the ball right now, or we're going to, slow it down. So there could be more defense, or talk on the offensive side of the ball.
Because I could see, because when we watched the game, we went back. I wasn't there physically, but I was able to watch the replay, the recap.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're looking at the recap and how the game is being played, it's a major difference from what happened last year and from what happened this year. Some stats I'm gonna throw out for everybody that's watching right now is that the three-point percentage for this year for this last game was 41%. 41%, it hovers around that. Mm-hmm. And then it's also 62%. It's a 62% true shooter, or 62% field goal percentage throughout the whole game, which is crazy because last year, one of our biggest quarrels with the team was that shooting was something that we need to improve on a lot. But with this new squad now, with Orlando being one of the biggest forefronts of it, Orlando went 4 for 4 from the 3.
Yes, and oh my goodness, it was such an electric response from the audience as well, because you can see it with the crowd being so participating in the game, because when he had those open shots, he's seen it, and they felt it when he had that pick and roll and they popped him the ball and he just seen it. It's everybody was oh, that's green. I don't even know why we still on defense. Get back, get the ball. This transition, and it was absolutely amazing. You could tell when he was feeling his shot and he knew it was there, he would let it go, and I think that was absolutely amazing from him.
Yeah, he was so good that he played too hard, where I feel like he was getting a little hurt, and I was like, you need to sit down. But he was too busy trying to get back out there. But I think he did got hurt, and they did take him out. I don't know I don't know what it was. I think it was his ankle. He did get hurt, and he was taken out for the rest of the game. But I think, I'm gonna lie, he kind of held up the game. I'll say he was an MVP in that game.
For real. And he had a supporting cast as well. Anderson had 27, Petaway had 24 as well. And it kind of showcases this thing that we didn't see a lot last year. It wasn't a lot of I'm gonna say this. Last year, we had a very good squad. We had plenty of people that were from other schools. They were in the graduate year. They had a lot of experience. But to take over a game, it's seeing multiple players in double figures, let alone above 20 points.
Yes.
It's oh, this offense is well-oiled.
That's well-oiled, and it's more of once we're up there, that's where everybody get a touch on the ball. Everybody's scoring. And I love that because that gives the coach a sense of confidence and the players a sense of confidence to where they can officially go into playing their own game, to where the coach can be a little more lackadaisical and be like, well, I don't have to do too much now because they're doing it. They're pumping the gas and they're keeping it controlled, and I absolutely love that for them.
So something that you mentioned as well was the energy from Orlando, seeing that he was injured, but or he was falling all over the place, failing all over the place. But the fact that he was willing to get back out there and contribute to his team and make sure that everybody's like engaged, like that's something that
like I don't even think he sat down that game. He like when he was out, that boy was standing up. He was like, "Put me in, coach." Like I'm like, you need to sit down.
That's something that so many coaches look for in a player that's going to engage the game entirely. There's never a break, and it's absolutely I love it. He was entertained the entire time.
Yes.
Whether he was on the floor, behind the bench, he was there. He was in the game.
Yes. Yeah. Even when he was getting fouled, he was like, come on now. We was always like, come on now. Like, he digging out, like, come on now. And for a person that's young, like, I see he's a sophomore, like, I didn't even think that. Like, he got that maturity as a senior. Because he even, like, when I seen him, like, he got fouled, and he was talking to the referees. And the referee was, like, explaining it to him. He was like, you right, okay. I got it. And he just left it alone instead of arguing with him. He just walked away, which was very mature of him. And he just, like, kept it going and still didn't let that phase his game.
Yeah, and kind of moving forward, before we transition to the football side of this thing, something that I want to mention about Orlando is that Orlando came in and started as a freshman. And then after he started, he was benched and he had some development time. But now, like y'all are both talking, he's in a way more, he's an improved player across all metrics. I mean, his offense, his defense, he had 2 steals as well. But the most important thing was the maturity that you get from your point guard. Because that's very important. Your point guard mans your offense. And we'll talk about the defense a little later. But kind of segueing into PV Sports, still having PV Sports, is we have an upcoming game against FAMU. And I want to get you guys' predictions for the game.
Oh, well, it ain't like, well, I'm not going to be, like, hide behind the bush.
Let's be nice now.
I ain't going to hide behind the bush. Like, I'm not going to say they're going to whoop us, but it's like a 70, 80 chance we might lose. But I'm just saying, like, it's like, I don't know what's with the season. I don't know what's with the football players. I feel like we have a lot of players for not to be playing like how I feel like we can be playing. Like, but I think, Femme, you got this one.
You think? For okay. ESPN is saying, like, their metrics on who's going to win is kind of crazy. ESPN not rocking with it, but that's okay. That's okay. But what do you guys think is the X factor or, like, the pivotal, I guess, focus for both the offense and the defense from the Panthers going into this game that we've seen all season? Makes y'all think.
That's a great question, man. 'Cause
I just don't think they got, like, chemistry. I don't. It's just like everything's so off when I watch them. I be like, they have questionable.
Like they fluctuate in energy. I will say that, and it could lead back to their chemistry, but like when you're there on the field, it feels like they're so individual. Like they're like how like we were just saying with basketball, like you have that chemistry between your point guard and your shoot guard. It's just feel that with the quarterback and his receivers. It's just they lack that bond, and it actually tears them apart. It eats them up because there is so much potential on that roster. So when you see it, and it's just like, where is it at? Yeah. Like some games previously that we played, it's like, hold on. I feel like we should came back with a win from that.
Yeah,
like, what's
for
going
sure.
on?
And there's plenty of examples about that. I mean, when you look at the Southern game, for example, we were leading the whole way through. Come fourth quarter, it's like, where's the intensity? Where's like, the chemistry that y'all had throughout this whole, this whole game. And going into this FAMU game, I mean, when you think about something that's going to be a game changer for this team, it's going to be that defense. It's going to be the defense. We have Aiden Jones. We have Fred Stokes Jr. We have plenty of corner. We have a great defensive team that's going to be able to push the pressure. Because when you look at how they play, they feed off of their defense. The offense just now put Johnson in the starting position, Jaden Johnson in the starting position, and sat Cam Peters for homecoming. So my question is, do you think switching out the quarterbacks for this game, do y'all think we should keep Cam, who started the whole season, or let Jaden Johnson get a little bit more shine and see that production that we saw during homecoming?
I say keep him in, let him shine.
Right.
Let him shine.
It's never a bad thing to try something different because honestly, I'm not to like downplay his game or anything, but at the results we're seeing right now, it wouldn't hurt to try to spice it up a little bit and throw in a different QB and see where that goes because if he brought us home a win during homecoming, who knows what can happen.
He can do. He can do it again.
And he brought a lot of needed intensity coming out of like halftime, for example, making sure that when Cam wasn't, producing, he would come in and bring that extra life to the offense.
Yes.
We saw it during the Grambling game specifically. He came in, really made sure that stuff was moving, made sure stuff was going, and that was really important. But on the topic of football, as we segue kind of in the last part of the show, is NFL playoffs, but also something's going on with the Saints, and I'm not too informed on it, but I want you guys to kind of catch me up on what's going on.
Well, the drama with the Saints as of now is that the quarterback, they are saying that he's throwing hospital passes. They are saying that he is purposely injuring his receivers. And I think as you can see in the last game, it felt so true. And even like previous game footage, like he is setting those receivers up to get their heads taken off. And it's like, protect them. Like they even brought like Tom Brady into the conversation and they were like, Tom Brady, he even made like a statement early on in his career and was like, I try my best to make sure I keep my receivers out of harm's way. Yeah. And I think it's just absolutely like, he can't really defend himself. He did make a great press statement the other day because Mike Thomas did also say something like he was active on Twitter expressing his dislike for the QB Derek Carr. And he was just like, get him out of here. He's terrible. Like he's been bad ever since I played alongside him. And even like the brother, because I believe the receiver that was hurt in the previous game, his name is, what is his name? Oh my goodness. It's Chris Olave. And his brother, Josh Olave, even took one of the statements that Mike Thomas tweeted and was like, I 100% agree. And it's like, now your credibility as a quarterback is going down. So how much will your players even trust you on the field? Like you're supposed to be the quarterback. You're leading us to the end zone. Yeah. If I can't trust you to keep me out of harm's way, you're potentially ruining my career and my longevity. Like, this is a concussion. He has 5 concussions. He's under the age of 25. And 4 of his concussions have been with the Saints. Wow. That's terrible.
So I guess one of my questions to you is, as a quarterback, how do you I guess, move on, like move and operate while being called a quarterback that throws hospital passes?
I want to say, like, I don't know if I was wide receiver for that, I would be like, don't put him in. Because if you're trying to hurt me, I don't want to, I would just trade him out.
Yeah, it's crazy because even another position, I believe, I can't remember at the time, but he was like, man, if we're going to play like that, like, he's like, man, for giggles, just put me in as quarterback. At least the fans will have something to watch. And I thought that was insane. I was like, that's how he feels? Like, really? Like, your whole team is like, nah, man, I'd rather have him as my QB than be in the hospital bed. Like, yeah. And I completely understand that because that's a career. That's somebody's money.
Mm-hmm. And then while we're on the topic, I want to brought up, speaking about QBs, Cowboys.
just so we can get this on record.
All right, my team is Miami Dolphins. Oh wait, I don't have my keys, but Miami Dolphins. Okay, and Baltimore Ravens. But anyways, don't boo. But no, I hear that you're
just making a mental note. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I hear that the QB on the Cowgirls is injured.
Just making a mental note. Well, because we'll make it a mental note. Jerry, you're behind here. Well, I'm gonna get on you later. We're good. Let's continue.
But I hear that the Cowboys QB is injured.
Yes.
How do y'all feel?
Well, as a sad Cowboys fan, I'm not disappointed. I'm used to the disappointment being a Cowboys fan. I love my Cowboys, though.
Cowgirls.
I love my Cowboys. We need to get rid of Jerry Jones. That's what needs to be understood. But, I mean, to be fair, as looking at how the season is going and how they're producing, I don't believe that they're going to do anything come playoff time anyway. We still have Zeke, but Zeke is not. So a lot of the things we have a lot of things internally that we need to fix with both of our players and with our management. Because to be fair, I don't believe this is something that's on the players; it's on Jerry Jones. But that's a conversation that we'll get into later because I don't want to get upset.
Wait, are y'all a Texans fan?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I was going to say because, well, when I was looking, the Texans are above Baltimore Ravens, which is outrageous.
Ain't that your team?
Exactly. But it's okay. We'll whoop y'all. It's okay. We'll see
No,
y'all in the
it ain't
playoffs.
about me. It ain't about me
okay.
right now. It's Texans. Perfect. But kind of talking about the rankings right now, we were talking about it off camera. You know the playoff rankings right now. You don't mind telling everybody the playoff rankings, how things are gonna go coming into these following weeks?
So it sounds like, of course, these Chiefs. I don't like the Chiefs. I don't even want to talk about them.
No, facts. Let's get into it.
I don't even want to talk about them.
Because I'm not trying to see that this season, bro.
y'all
I'm sick of it. Get Taylor
Y'all
Swift out of
see that
here.
they haven't lost a game. I don't even talk about it, but they're against Denver, my home state, this week. So maybe Denver will whip them. Never know. The Bills are taking AFC East. Don't like them either, but they're against Indianapolis.
The Colts.
The Colts. And then the Steelers, AFC North. They're the leader. I actually kind of like them just because of what's the second ring? He was just on Broncos. The QB.
Which one?
Russell Wilson. Thank you. I only like him because of Russell Wilson.
Sick.
Insane.
Got anything to say?
I just said insane. I didn't say anything. Just said insane.
He's a great QB.
You wanna like flashback to what happened when he was on the Seahawks and that play that he made that cost
That was
them
like
the
80 years ago.
That don't matter.
Man.
I really want to talk about just how great
It's on his resume.
that is a pretty bad mess up. I'm not gonna lie. And then when you listen to what he said, like the interview that was had, and what he said, he was like, "Oh, we'll get him next year." Like that's insane from your quarterback.
Okay,
so yes,
but he had
I'm gonna
more
say a little bit
goods
insane.
than
I'm gonna say
bads.
insane.
Like, come on, no.
But I guess
He better than y'all cowgirls. Anyways, Texans, Houston, AFC South is taking. I don't know how. Don't know in any way. They cheating. And then of course my team. They're coming in second, AFC North, and then Chargers, the second, AFC West, and then Broncos, my home state. I think. Speaking, do y'all have any feelings about the Broncos?
no.
Broncos Nation, let's ride.
Thank you. Broncos Nation, let's ride.
That's what I'm talking about. You say it with me.
But with a lot of these standings right now that we're talking about, I think we can wrap up. As we're wrapping up, one of the biggest things that we're going to cover is the race between not only who's going to win Heisman, but also between the college teams. So what are your guys' feelings about these college teams right now and kind of the race for who's going to be taking home that Heisman trophy?
Travis Hunter.
Our producer in the back hates him, but we love him. Travis, should you see this?
And I have a friend of mine named Jared Robinson that's in my production right now that believes that Ewers is going to be one of the best candidates, if not the best candidate, for Ewers, the quarterback for the Longhorns, for Texas. He believes that he is the best candidate for the Heisman Trophy. You know, we'll pray for him.
Right.
But what we'll do is, when we go into, I believe when we think about this Heisman Award, I feel like a lot of people discredit Travis Hunter because he's a defensive player.
Yes.
And not saying you don't give Heisman to defense. But when you think about just how insane of a player that Travis Hunter is, being that he can dabble in both, it just
at this point, I think if y'all give him the chance to be QB, he will be a QB. He'll do coaching. He'll do it all. I'm telling y'all, he is a one-man team. Like, and he's always positive too. Like, I be watching his TikToks. He be so positive. He is funny, so funny. But I love his girlfriend. But might take his girl. But they are so funny. They are so funny. Like, I think he's a one-man team. Like, he deserves it all.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's a one-man band. He's been a one-man band since like that man there. He's a strong player, both sides of the ball.
Trophy.
But I see poor Jared's point of view. Ewers that man is an amazing quarterback. Let's give credit where credit is due.
Yes.
He's an amazing quarterback.
But not as amazing.
With him being an amazing quarterback, when he was injured, Manning did show up and be like, hey, even if you're not here, I could still lead this team. Not saying that Ewers is not pivotal for the Longhorns, but it was a statement seeing a backup QB come back, produce better than I want to say, it's one person in their family that he didn't produce better than, but that's what the point was, that they could still survive without Ewers being on that team. And I feel like if you take Travis off of Colorado, it's going to be
it's gonna shake.
The difference is just
It ain't
crazy.
gonna shake that much. Don't do CU now. They got a good
I'm
QB.
not saying, but if you take Travis from that team,
but
and then take Ewers from that team, but I think it's more about, I think it's a mix between impact and just how great that player is, and I feel like Travis and Ewers are great candidates, but there's other candidates that we can speak about in a later episode. But this is going to wrap up Across the Board for today. There was a lot of stuff to dissect, and we got into a lot of things today, but it was an overall great episode. I had a pleasure of having my co-host here. Would you guys like to reintroduce yourselves as we wrap up for today?
I'm Kira Tiller.
And I'm Kazadi Evans.
And I will definitely bring them back for future episodes for Across the Board as we talk about NFL, as we talk about college sports, talk about the NBA. We're going to have a lot more episodes coming soon as well. We're going to have a golf episode coming up this Friday and a lot more just sports to talk about. So thank you guys for joining us for another installment of Across the Board that's associated with Penta Sports Zone with your host, Khalid Gray. And we will see you guys in the next episode of Across the Board.